more chance to buy or less pressure on rents. But when you really look at what is happening across Britain right now, that optimism starts to fade very quickly. So let me ask this clearly for everyone watching tonight. Why are so many landlords walking away at the same time? And why does this matter so much for renters? The simple truth is that being a landlord in Britain has become far more expensive, risky, and stressful than it used to be. Years ago, buy-to-let was seen as fairly stable. Now, landlords are being hit from every direction at once. Tax relief has been cut back, mortgage costs have jumped because of higher interest rates, and new rules keep piling up. Many landlords who were once making a steady profit are now just about breaking even or losing money every month. When experienced landlords look at those numbers, many decide it is smarter to sell while prices are still high rather than carry on.
So right now we're looking at a situation in Britain where landlords are selling up and leaving the rental market, a move that really shakes up things for tenants.
Right.
The whole picture is painted with rising mortgage payments, stricter regulations, and even energy efficiency rules costing a pretty penny.
Yeah, that does sound like a perfect storm. So can you break down why exactly so many landlords are walking away?
Definitely. It's like this. What was once a stable buy-to-let game has now turned into a stressful maze. Landlords are getting squeezed by higher mortgage costs, increased insurance and maintenance bills, and those new energy-saving rules that cost, well, thousands. And once you add in the cuts to tax relief, margins shrink so badly that staying in the market often means just breaking even or even taking a loss.
So essentially, when landlords see the numbers, they're thinking, enough is enough. I might as well sell now while prices are high. That makes sense, but why does that really matter for renters?
Exactly. When these landlords sell, the properties usually vanish from the rental market, which means there are fewer choices out there for folks looking to rent. Fewer homes naturally leads to tighter competition and, yes, rising rents. It's like a domino effect that pushes rental rates up across the board.
That really paints a gloomy picture for tenants. So, what kind of pressures are we seeing on everyday renters in this scenario?
Well, it's pretty brutal. Renters face a double whammy. Not only do they have fewer options, but those who stay might see rent increases every year. And if you need to move, you're thrown into a hyper-competitive arena where landlords can be super fussy. High income, perfect credit, no pets, no complications. This ends up hitting families, single parents, and lower income workers the hardest.
That's interesting, though a bit counterintuitive. Aren't some of these policies supposed to protect tenants?
Well, they are meant to, but the way the regulations work now, they often add to the overall cost pressures on landlords instead. It's like if you squeeze one side of a balloon, the other side bulges out. In this case, the extra costs get passed on to tenants through higher rents.
So it really is a catch-22. Landlords trying to survive by selling or hiking rents, and tenants left to bear the brunt of these changes.
Exactly. And this isn't just a temporary glitch either. Unless something major shifts policy-wise or market conditions change, tenants should brace themselves for a tougher, more expensive rental market in the future. It's a structural change that could mean renting takes up a larger share of incomes with less security overall.
It almost sounds like the system is rigged against those who need flexibility the most. So, realistically, what should renters be preparing for?
They'd have to plan for ongoing higher rents, stiffer competition, and the possibility of facing rent hikes year after year. It feels like the new normal, less choice and increased financial pressure that could make it really hard for people to make ends meet.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. It seems clear that without some significant changes, this trend will only intensify. Renters are unfortunately stuck in this cycle, and it really underscores how much the dynamics of housing are shifting these days.
And when they sell, that rental home usually disappears from the market. That is why this matters to renters. Fewer homes to rent means tougher competition and higher prices for everyone left behind. We hear a lot about taxes and regulations, but those can sound quite abstract. People at home might be wondering how paperwork and policy decisions actually lead to higher rents landing on their doorstep. So let me put it this way. How exactly are government policies and rising costs pushing landlords out, and how does that pressure end up being passed straight on to tenants? It all comes down to basic maths. Landlords now face higher mortgage payments, higher insurance bills, higher maintenance costs, and stricter energy efficiency rules that can cost thousands to comply with. At the same time, they cannot offset these costs against tax in the way they once could. That squeezes their margins hard. Some landlords try to cope by raising rents, but there is a limit to how much tenants can pay. When the numbers no longer work, landlords sell. Once that happens, the supply of rental homes shrinks. When supply falls but demand stays high, rents rise across the board. Even tenants whose landlords stay in the market feel the impact, because market rates are being set by scarcity, not fairness. We are already seeing reports of bidding wars, dozens of people turning up for one viewing, and renters offering months of rent up front just to stand a chance. For many watching tonight, this is not theory, it is their daily reality. So what does this shrinking rental market actually look like on the ground for ordinary renters trying to find or keep a home? For renters, it means less choice, less security, and much higher costs. If you stay where you are likely to face bigger rent increases each year. If you need to move, you enter a brutal competition where landlords can pick and choose. They often want high incomes, perfect credit, no pets, no complications. That leaves many people struggling, especially families, single parents, and lower-income workers. In many cities, renters are being pushed further away from their jobs or forced into house shares they never planned on. The market now rewards those who already have stability and punishes anyone who needs flexibility. That is the opposite of what renting is supposed to provide. When people hear all this, the natural question is whether relief is coming. Will more landlords return? Will rents calm down? Or is this the new normal? So let me end with the question many viewers are asking themselves tonight. Where does this leave renters over the next few years, and what should they realistically prepare for? Unless something major changes, renters should prepare for a tougher and more expensive market than we have seen before. The forces pushing landlords out are still in place, and in some cases, getting stronger. There is no sign of a sudden flood of new rental homes arriving to ease the pressure. That means rents are likely to keep rising, competition will stay intense, and security will remain fragile. For many people, renting will take up a larger share of income and limit future choices. This is not a short-term blip. It is a structural shift in the housing market. The uncomfortable reality is that renters are being asked to carry the cost of a system that is no longer working for either side.